Okay guys, super different video today. Welcoming back you all, my beautiful Irish people, to County Gains News Media Network. This video is basically taken from a Virgin Media kind of section, and it's by a guy named SPICEBAG. We have four people here, three of them which are like just random politicians or NGOs or journalists, and one guy here in the North Face jacket, you can't miss him, is a man named SPICEBAG. Now, he originally did a picture where the Gardaí were like basically beating up people, and it was pretty controversial. But today, he's basically going to be talking about the regular guy, you know, from the age of 21 to 35, kind of representing the sort of youth of Ireland in Coolock. I believe they're talking about Coolock riots and the sort of tension going on in Dublin. So very interesting, guys. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. But this one is very, very interesting, guys. We're going to break it down a little bit. So let's go.
You can't call people like like those scroungers and scroats and all this kind of thing. It doesn't help at all. It just that's a way for the far right to go. There now, look, they despise you. Do you know what I mean? So who are you going to back then? You're not going to back the people who are calling you names or
the mysterious far right. So he's saying that you shouldn't be insulting people because then extremist factions are going to be picking them up and kind of bringing them over to their side in a sort of a attack on the civil liberties of people. We're going to be recruiting people to one side, and then another side are going to be recruiting another side of people. Seems very, very odd. Now, the North Face jacket's a bit interesting, guys, because I remember the day this was filmed, it was about a week or two ago, and it was like 16 to 20 degrees in Dublin. So I don't know if they're like, you guys have a different climate, but it was very warm here in Galway, like exceptionally warm that day. So wearing a full-on jacket inside a studio, which isn't air conditioning, I'm gonna go out on a limb. It's a bit strange, guys. Let's go back to the beginning. Just had to comment on the jacket there a little bit. Very very odd.
you can't call people like like those scroungers and scroats and all this kind of thing. It doesn't help at all. It just that's a way for the far right to go. There now, look, they despise you. Do you know what I mean? So who are you going to back then? You're not going to back the people who are calling you names or like spitting on you. You're going to back the people who are making you feel empowered. And at the moment, that's what the far right are really benefiting from, is the gap between rich and poor. And
I'm not taking sides, but I don't even know what the far right even is in Ireland. I don't even know if that's like a proper term for people that are conservative, or is there a far left? Is there like a Marxist movement? Like, what is the sort of definition there?
Benefiting from is the gap between rich and poor, and in this country.
So he's saying that far right people are recruiting poor people to fight against immigrants coming to Ireland or something like that. Seems a bit far-fetched to me, guys. I don't really know exactly what the whole motive here.
And the sort of alienation of a lot of these people in like disadvantaged areas, that's why this is spreading.
On that, when that has been said about more engagement and more consultation, we heard the Taoiseach Simon Harris saying, I'm kind of fed up of this whataboutery. This was serious thuggery. What does that language say to you? And many would agree with him that this, what we've seen on Monday night, what we've seen on Tuesday night and through the week,
you can call it whatever you want. You know what I mean? You can call it thuggery. You can, but it's not going to change the fact that in a few months or in a year, there's going to be people in one of those centres and it's going to go up in flames, or there's going to be, there's going to be a Garda injured or killed, or there's going to be a young fella injured and killed, like you saw the Garda respond.
Bro, maybe if they had a vote, if I ever became a Taoiseach, or if I was ever to come into power in Ireland, I would just vote on everything. No harm in having a vote, guys. Let's have a vote for the nation. Should we put people into Coolock? Should we take EU money to put people into Coolock? I understand immigration to a certain point, guys, but when you're just putting like 500 people into a place that's very poor and it violates basic human rights, is that a good idea? I'm not so sure, guys. I'd love to talk more to people about this and what's actually going on over there, because I'm not too familiar with Coolock either, but we know sort of what's going on there.
There's going to be people in one of those centres and it's going to go up in flames, or there's going to be...
That's true. They should vote on it, guys, because someone could actually get killed from this, which isn't good. Terrible.
There's going to be a Garda injured or killed, or there's going to be a young fella injured and killed. Like, you saw the Garda response at that protest. There was young fellas pepper sprayed, beaten on the ground, like, pretty viciously by the Garda.
78-year-old father.
Yeah,
there was some kids like pepper sprayed. Now, I'm not, I'll give the Gardaí, sort of a lenient. I'm a very fair guy. Like, if the Gardaí have a tough job, but they were pepper spraying kids. Seemed a bit sort of intense, a bit too, heavy-handed in my personal opinion, but at the same time it could have been an accident as well. Could have just been like runoff from when spraying everyone, but obviously there's kids in the crowd as well, which is just wild. Okay, so yeah.
78-year-old
father. Someone, an older person, pepper sprayed as well. So that's a pretty severe response, and that's just going to make things a lot worse. Like, we've seen already on this island over and over again how coming in and using all this force on a community is just going to make things worse. And in communities in Ireland where not the exact same thing but similar things have happened, say like in Derry or in Belfast, community engagement is the only thing that works. You need to go down to these people and kind of listen to what's going on here. You can't just cut them off as worthless, do you know what I mean? Because then you're just going to antagonise them. Yeah,
well, I also think you can't just label people as far right. Like, let's actually get to who the people are. I'm not so sure of the whole village of Coolock, and I've never been there, but I'm not so sure if they're the whole sort of Trump loving, I don't even know, like ultra conservative MAGA sort of, ultra right wing group. I'm not so sure about that, guys. Proud Boys, and we can label them whatever, but I'm not so sure that's the village of Coolock. Maybe the village of Coolock should have a vote. Maybe they should have a vote, guys. And see what happens.
But similar things have happened. Say like
what sort of Gardaí? So I get these two Gardaí with the yellow luminous vests, and then I get the Riot Squad Gardaí. But what's with these Gardaí here with jeans and looks like he's wearing runners. Looks like he's wearing Vans, which, if I was a guard man, I'd be wearing basketball shoes or something that I could actually run in. You can't really run in Vans or whatever. But these Gardaí here, it looks like they're wearing a hoodie with the stab-proof vest over it. Maybe they have a gun or something. I'm not really sure what those Gardaí do, but they're young guys. These guys are obviously college educated. Maybe they can sit down and have a discussion with the people of Coolock, have a philosophical debate, have a little, psychology, little flipping psychology meeting to kind of educate the people of Coolock. I'm not really sure what they're doing there, but yeah, everything seems very just odd. This is a very odd scene right here, guys.
In Derry or in Belfast, community engagement is the only thing that works. You need to go down to these people and kind of listen to what's going on here. You can't just cut them off as worthless.
I'm not so sure. This guy is supposed to be the kind of heavy chubby guy with the beard here, SPICEBAG. He's meant to be anti, let's say, government or anti-Gardaí of some sort, which I'm not, guys. Okay, I'm not anti-Gardaí. Okay, I may be questioning the government, what they do on this YouTube channel, but it seems like this guy is on one hand, was it last year he was questioning the Gardaí arresting people for squatting in vacated houses and stuff like that, guys, removing people from homes that were foreclosed on by the banks and stuff. And then on this hand, now a year later, it seems was this guy paid to kind of talk on this news channel now, Virgin Media or someone? He's it's almost like he swapped sides here. I don't know. Seems very strange, guys. It seems like there's a sort of a different rhetoric going on this year than last year. That he's not really with the whole, identity politics and who's going in where and what's the whole, politics of different areas. Whereas it seemed last year he was all about bashing the Gardaí. Now he's not about that. So, very strange. Maybe he could paint another picture about Coolock, guys, and people going into the place. I love you all. Stay free. I'll see you on the next one, guys. Peace.